people want to be more like you.
Really?
So, and you know what, for the fate of humankind, I think it would be great to have more Elon Musks. So what do we need to do to become more like Elon?
I don't know if it's, I think it maybe sounds better than it is. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, there's a friend of mine who's got a great saying about creating a company, which is trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So, I mean, what tends to happen is it's sort of quite exciting for the first several months of starting a company, and then reality sets in. Things don't go as well as planned. Customers aren't signing up. The technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought. And then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession, and it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company, I would advise people to have a high pain tolerance.
And thanks for reminding us of the harsh, very harsh and brutal reality of launching a startup.
Yeah, but I would definitely advise people who are starting a company to expect a long period of quite high difficulty. But I mean, as long as people stay super focused on creating the absolute best product or service that really delights their end customer, if they stay focused on that, then if you get it such that your customers want you to succeed, then you probably will.
All right, you have to focus on the customer and delivering for them.
Yeah, make sure if your customers love you, your odds of success are dramatically higher.
You embody a business mogul, if there ever was one, whether it's the NBA, 40/40, brands around the globe, your own production company and label. What's your advice to other people coming up who are trying to make it and trying to become moguls in and of their own right? What's your advice to them?
My advice is just do things that are true to you. Most things that I'm involved with are extension of being creative. Rockaway is a clothing company. It's part of who you are, and hip hop is your attitude and what you're trying to express, how you dress. I love sports growing up. I grew up in a household where sports was on 24/7. So these are things that are comfortable for me. These are things that I like. So I would just say get involved in things that you love, and also have a standard for yourself and have some sort of integrity, and try to, find some sort of truth in what you're doing.
What did you learn on the street? Because you talk about being 13 and selling crack. Did that teach you something of how to be a successful businessman, or how we all are common?
All the things that you apply in business. They say that he has great instincts. But on the streets, having great instincts can be the difference between life and death, not just losing a deal.
Or incarceration.
Or incarceration. Which is less than death, right? And and being a person of high integrity. People want to deal with you. In business, in the
trust.
Streets, trust and honorable, and a man of your word. All these things come to play in business world. I'm not condoning any street activity, but it's just the way it is.
Best investment advice that you ever received? What was it? Do you remember? Whether it was in the market or just investing in life and in business?
Yeah, I think just doing things that you believe in, things that you understand. I think that's the best investment. I heard Warren Buffett say that just the other day. And I just innately felt that, just invest in things that you understand.
A lot of people follow. A lot of people are followers. Generally, if not, we'd have problems. We have too many entrepreneurs. We have too many successful people. Like, look how many people go through business classes. If everything you needed was in that actual business class, in that book, it'd be too many successful business people.
Right.
How many people graduate? Matter of fact, the professor wouldn't have the time to sit there and teach you. That knows this book damn near verbatim, page by page. He knows it, right?
Because he'd be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's too busy. I'm doing way too much right now because I got the palm trees and we selling so much of the stuff that I'm doing that I ain't quite got time to teach no mother class right now because I'm winning.
You know, it's an extremely corrupt system we have at this point. We have an education bubble. In the U.S., we have $1 trillion of student debt. To a first approximation, this has gone to pay for $1 trillion worth of lies about the value of the education people have received. It's not at all obvious yet, though, what's going to replace this or how it's going to change. I'm somewhat skeptical that it will be replaced by any sort of single unitary system. I have this fellowship for young people to start companies, and it's not. My claim is not that everybody should do this. I don't think everyone should become an entrepreneur, and I think there is no one size fits all. So I think the future will be much more heterogeneous, much more diverse in terms of what people do. What's really anomalous is the sort of unitary tracking where you have to go to an elite college, you go to Yale or you go to jail. There's nothing else you can do, you know. And so I think the universities are perhaps in the same place as the Catholic Church was in 1514, if we go back 500 years, where you had sort of this monolithic way, this universal way of body of knowledge of teaching things. The difference between the Yale and the Harvard political science faculties are probably no greater than the differences between the Dominicans and the Franciscans. So we have all kinds of small debates within this context. We have a system of indulgences that's costing more and more to support this priestly or professorial class of people. We are told that it's the only way to salvation. You must get a diploma to be saved. If you do not get a diploma, then you will go to hell. I think the message that I have that's like the 16th century reformers, that's a somewhat troubling message, is that you have to work out your salvation on your own. You have to save yourself, and that's I believe that is the truth, but it's a somewhat uncomfortable one.
What's better for you, college or starting a business? It's an age-old question that never seems to have a clear-cut answer. Should you go to college, or should you launch your own business? It all depends on where you see yourself in 5, 10, or 20 years, but that decision can be daunting, especially when it comes to the expense of going to school and the risk of starting your own business from scratch. Fortunately, there are plenty of resources online that can help you make this important decision. And who knows, 5 factors affecting your decision. The decision to go to college or start a business is not one you should take lightly. Below are 5 factors that will affect your decision, which may help you make a more informed one. 1. What type of work are you interested in doing? If you want to do something that is typically learned through an apprenticeship, school can provide you with the necessary knowledge and skills in order to be successful in that field. However, if what interests you is more entrepreneurial, such as starting your own business, going to school might not be the best option. 2. What are your strengths and weaknesses? If what interests you is entrepreneurship, but your natural talents lie in working with people rather than things, this might not be the right move. Also, if you have weak math skills, it might be better to go to college instead of starting a business where those skills would come into play. 3. How much money do you need? If you don't have any money saved up and need funding from somewhere, it would most likely be easier for you to get funding from someone else by attending college than by taking the chance on whether your new venture could turn into something financially successful. But if funds aren't an issue for you or there isn't any specific opportunity that requires capital funding, then starting a business could prove less costly over time in terms of both tuition and fees. 4. What are your goals? Are they short-term or long-term? Do you plan to work for yourself in the future? 5. What's your risk tolerance level? If it takes a lot of courage for you to start something new, try going back to school. If you're risk tolerant and don't mind taking chances, starting a business might be right up your alley. However, if you need job security, you may be better off going to school. Cost of college. College is not cheap. The average yearly tuition of a 4-year public university is $22,730. That doesn't include books, transportation to and from school, housing, food, etc. It also doesn't include the opportunity cost of your time. What are you going to do with the 2 to 4 years that you spend in college if you don't go on to graduate school? Why pay all that money and then not have anything to show for it after graduation? Well, what about starting a business instead? With so many people out there with great ideas who want to start their own businesses but can't because they're strapped for cash, crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter offer an incredible solution. If you just need funding to get started, crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter offer an incredible solution. There are already tens of thousands of successful campaigns that got started through Kickstarter and even more successes in other crowdfunding sites such as Indiegogo and CrowdRise. Career prospects. A college degree can open up many opportunities in the workforce that may not be available to someone without one. For example, many Fortune 500 companies require their employees to have at least a 4-year degree. In fact, 85% of chief executives surveyed said they would only consider hiring job candidates with a college degree. Even if you don't want to work for one of those big companies, you may still want to consider getting your degree. It could open doors down the road that would otherwise stay closed forever. On the other hand, there are plenty of entrepreneurs who have built successful businesses without ever going to college. The risks associated with starting a business and not having any education past high school are much higher than those associated with trying to get into the workforce post-college, but it is certainly an option. The key question you should ask yourself is this: do I need my degree right now? If yes, then go ahead and start applying. If no, then spend some time researching different options before deciding what's best for you. Alternatives such as apprenticeships. The choice between college and starting your own business is not an easy one to make. If you want to start a business, you need to think about what this would mean for your future. Are you willing to give up on your dreams of going to college, pursuing traditional employment opportunities with the security of a 9-to-5 job, and living in the safe confines of financial stability provided by traditional jobs? The truth is that there are many alternatives out there that may be more suitable than starting your own business. Consider an apprenticeship program. This can provide you with excellent training while allowing you the opportunity to work directly with someone who has already been successful in the field that interests you most. Another option would be internships. If you're still unsure about which path to take, consider spending some time at a company and seeing if it feels right. For example, if you've always wanted to do something in marketing but aren't sure if it's the right career path for you, consider getting an internship at a marketing company where they will teach you all they know while giving feedback on whether this is indeed the best course of action for your future. For some people, making money isn't enough motivation. They have specific goals they hope to achieve in their lifetime that can only be fulfilled through education, such as becoming a doctor. For others though, their priorities lie elsewhere and starting their own business may just suit them better. Value of education. College is expensive. It can take years to pay off student loans. And if you're not careful, you might end up with a degree that doesn't do anything to help you get the job you want. But college is also an investment in yourself and your future. You'll learn things like critical thinking skills, problem-solving strategies, and how to deal with diverse people who have different points of view, skills that will make you better at your job regardless of what it is. It's important to ask yourself some questions before deciding on whether or not to go to college. What are my career goals? How much debt am I comfortable taking on? Will my school give me enough opportunity to explore my interests? Will I be able to graduate without having had a full-time job while in school, which can sometimes mean going into more debt? If you answer these questions honestly, then you should be able to figure out what's best for you. Personality types. First, you need to identify your personality type. There are two main types of personalities, which are as follows. The first is known as extroverted introverts. These people are outgoing and enjoy being with other people, but they also need their alone time in order to recharge their energy levels. The second type is called ambivert, which means that they have qualities of both introverts and extroverts. This can be difficult because it can cause them to feel drained of energy if they're too social for too long. Next, you should decide what you want out of life and what career path is best suited for your needs. Think about the following questions when making your decision. What do I really like to do? What are my strengths? Where am I interested in going in my career, if at all? Is this an area where there will always be jobs available for me? Am I more of a morning person or evening person? How much money does this job pay on average? Is this something that interests me and would be fulfilling for me to pursue professionally? What type of environment suits me best? Would I be able to use my creativity in this job? Would I have access to mentorship programs while working in this field? Eventually, you'll need to make a decision. Keep in mind that whichever route you take will likely lead you into some amount of debt, so don't choose based solely off how much debt each option has. Conclusion. So, do you think you should go to college or start a business? It can be difficult to decide on the path that is best for you, and it might seem like one of them would be more successful than the other. But don't worry, there are many different factors to consider. Wherever your passion lies, starting a business is not only rewarding but also educational and challenging in ways that will push you to grow as an individual. However, if you have always dreamed of being a doctor, lawyer, or accountant, then going to college might just be the right option for you. We hope this video helped you figure out what to do with your future. If you want to know more about investing, subscribe to our YouTube channel Capital Investments.